Dear shorthand writers, this is English shorthand dictation number 133 and the dictation speed is 160 words per minute. Ready? Start. Honorable Speaker, Sir, the honorable members have called the attention of the House to the situation arising out of the rampant adulteration of food and edible substances in the country and steps taken by the government in this regard. Of late, the subject of adulteration in food items has been drawing a lot of attention of Parliament, the media and the common man. I am happy that this august House has spared its valuable time to discuss this matter that affects the health and life of everybody. I hope that we may be able to come up with some concrete and valuable suggestions to act upon. The central government lays down the standards for various food articles and regulations on use of additives, labeling, contaminants, etc. It primarily plays an advisory role in its implementation besides carrying out various statutory functions and duties assigned to it under the various provisions of Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. It also issues appropriate directions and alerts to the state governments for keeping strict vigil on the quality of food items within their respective jurisdiction for ensuring safe and wholesome food for consumers. As regards the procedure, the enforcement staff of the state authorities draw random samples of different food items from all sources like manufacturers, wholesalers and retailers, and also conduct raids at suspected places and get these samples analyzed in the food testing labs to see whether the samples conform to the standards laid down under the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. Action against such persons who indulge in production and trade of adulterated or misbranded food articles is taken by the concerned state governments under the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. If a person manufactures, stores, sells or distributes any article of food which is declared adulterated on account of quality or for manufacturing, for sale, storage, distribution of adulterated food which does not cause injury to health, there is the penalty with imprisonment for a term of minimum 6 months, but which may be up to 3 years, and with a fine which shall not be less than 1,000 rupees. In case a person manufactures, for sale or stores, sells or distributes any article of food which is declared adulterated for containing any coloring matter other than the prescribed standards, the penalty is imprisonment for a term of minimum 1 year, but which may be extended to 6 years, and with a fine which shall not be less than 2,000 rupees. In case of adulteration amounting to grievous hurt within the meaning under section 320 of the Indian Penal Code or endangering the life, imprisonment up to life is also envisaged with a fine which shall not be less than rupees 5,000. With a view to improving the implementation of food safety measures in the country, an attempt has been made by the central government to consolidate and integrate a number of food-related laws and rules by bringing them under a common umbrella of the Food Safety and Standards Act and bringing them under the supervision of a new single authority, namely the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. The new act deals with the issue of food safety in a holistic manner, including provisions like food recall, improvement notices, compensation to the victim of unsafe food to be paid by vendor or manufacturer in case of injury or death of consumer by adulterated or injurious food article. Food adulteration is an act of intentionally debasing the quality of food offered for sale either by the admixture or substitution of inferior substances or by the removal of some valuable ingredient. Adulterants may be intentionally added to more expensive substances to increase visible quantities and reduce manufacturing costs or for some other deceptive or malicious purpose. It is done in many ways. This ranges from adulterating milk with water, mixing adulterants in food items and sweets, artificial ripening of fruits, and often discussed phenomena of injecting fruits and vegetables with chemicals. There have been reports about the cases of misuse of animal fat and urea in production of milk and milk products. The central government has issued instructions from time to time to states and union territories to keep a strict vigil on the quality of milk and milk products by conducting special drives to draw random samples of milk and milk products and take necessary preventive action under the provisions of the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. As I have pointed out, the administration of all food safety laws rests with the respective state and union territory governments. Through this August forum, I would urge upon all the state and union territory governments and their food safety administrators to tighten their enforcement machineries, to keep a strict vigil on the activities of the unscrupulous elements, and to strive for speedy trials so that the perpetrators of such heinous crimes do not play havoc with the health and lives of the consumers and are also brought to book and to early convictions. Sir, I assure the House that the central government would not be found wanting in taking measures on its part for checking such malpractices. Honorable Chairman, Sir, some sections of the old Foreign Trade Act are proposed to be amended through the present Foreign Trade Amendment Bill, and the proposed amendments to the bill are in line with the recommendations of the Parliamentary Standing Committee. The amendments provide for the imposition of quantitative restrictions as a trade safeguard measure. As of now, though there are inherent powers under the Act, there is no specific provision which empowers the authorities or the agencies required to take action as a trade defense measure to impose quantitative restrictions. By incorporating that through this amendment, we will ensure that if there is a surge in imports, if imports are coming at prices which are lower than the prices at which they are produced or marketed in the country, or lower than the price in other markets of the same product, then the quantitative restrictions can be imposed. There are provisions under the Directorate General of Safeguards, but the provision of quantitative restriction has not been there. That is why we propose to bring that in, and this will be in conformity with the agreements to which India is a party. We also propose to bring in tighter trade controls in the case of dual-use goods and related technologies in conformity again with the provisions of the Weapons of Mass Destruction and Their Delivery Systems Act, which was passed by this Parliament in 2005. It would enable stringent action to be taken in case of any trade violations with respect to dual-use materials. Though this act is in place since 2005, the enforcement responsibility is with the Directorate General of Foreign Trade, which does not have the powers to implement it. But incorporating this amendment, we will ensure an effective implementation of the dual-use technology trade aspects. We are also bringing in technology and services within the ambit of the Act, and that is to facilitate trade in both services and technology. In the last few years, particularly since the enactment of the Act, the trade in services has increased manifold and it continues to grow. The government has taken many measures under the foreign trade policy to promote the services trade, which is one of India's core strengths and globally recognized. Many incentives and support measures have been given to the trade in services, and therefore only those services which specifically benefit from the various incentive schemes under this Act will be brought within the ambit through this amendment. About technology, I have referred to one aspect of technology. This is specifying the technologies to regulate the trade, and particularly those technologies where the potential of becoming a medium of proliferation is very much there. The definition of technologies that has been included in the proposed amendment is exactly on the line which has been suggested by the Ministry of External Affairs. The amendment bill also will ensure that all restrictions on imports and exports of the goods notified by various ministries and departments are available at one place. As of now, the different departments have their own notifications for the restrictions either on imports or exports. This would reduce the transaction cost because this will all be brought within the ambit of the Foreign Trade Development and Regulation Bill, and it will cut down the transaction cost for those who are engaged in this trade. I would like to submit and inform the House that this is also in conformity with India's commitments at the World Trade Organization and will not amount to any waiver of statutory requirement under any other law as applicable. Section 8 of the Act gives the Directorate General of Foreign Trade the powers to suspend or cancel import importer-exporter code number if there is reason to believe that any person has made an export or import in a manner that is gravely prejudicial to the trade relations of India. The proposed bill will delete the word gravely because having the word gravely in the body of the bill makes it difficult to prove what is gravely prejudicial, particularly when these issues are taken to the court. This amendment would enable swift and exemplary action in trade dispute matters. The objective of this bill is also to rationalize and improve the system of levying and realizing fiscal penalties through an effective mechanism and enabling the Customs and Central Excise Settlement Commission for settlement of customs and excise duties and interest.